Okay, welcome back. We're at the sausage stage, and I got to thinking, I need some basil, and I need some garlic in that sausage. I really want to create some flavor. You can't really do much without it. I don't want these stems, but the stems can go on the stock. And you want a nice fridge knife. I love Gerber, F-Dick, and then I also love Global. The F-Dicks are really industrial, and these Globals are just really sharp. Whoa, there went my coffee. Almost lost it. And so I got the skins off, I smashed the garlic, get the husk off, and I want to chop it really fine. I don't want any big chunks of garlic getting into somebody's mouth. Let's get this boning knife out of the way, get the husks out of the way. Normally I cook with an apron on, but I mean, I'm at my house and I cook pretty clean. I don't wipe my hands on my shirt or my pants. And so basically, to get this herb done properly, some kind of country cooks will rough chop things nowadays instead of chopping them up so fine. And I'm going to do that with the basil, but I'm not going to do that with the garlic, because like I said, I don't want to get those big hunks of garlic. So I'll just kind of move the garlic off to one side, get it really finely minced, leave the basil kind of rough cut. Because obviously, you're going for flavors, and we want to do this in a timely fashion. So now I'm going to mix the two together, and I'll show you something I use to get things off the cutting board. You can use a knife, but it's kind of dangerous, you know. Scrape things towards your hand with the knife. Bakers use these, scrape bowls out with them. It's flexible, it's not sharp at all. So I'm going to get that sausage that I've had chilling. I'm going to put all this in there. Like I said, that's going to add a lot more flavor. And I like the basil flavor. It's a good component with that pasta. Definitely Italian. I grow about 90 pounds of San Marzano tomatoes a year. I make my own pasta and spaghetti sauce. My kids, I have 4 grown kids, they'll come up and get some. Make my own pizza, make my own dough, make my own bread, biscuits. You just don't need to buy it. I can make a really nice loaf of bread with a sourdough starter I've had alive for 3 or 4 years. And I just keep feeding it once a week, keeping it in the fridge. When I want to make bread, I'll make 6-8 batches of bread. And keep one out fresh and freeze the rest. So I only have to bake bread maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, depending on how many friends I'm trying to barter with. I've got Lucian Gunderman, who raises lamb and beef down the hill on Baker Creek from me. I've got Steve Draper. I've got his brother who owns the Draper Farms down there at the corner of Baker and Hill Road. And it's amazing what you can trade for good bread. I mean, think about it. It's a loaf of that guy's killer bread is like almost $5 now. I can make as nice a loaf for about 55 cents and put the rest of the money in the bank. Okay, so I got this ready to go. We're going to need some kitchen string. And get some kitchen string. Don't get like some weird kind of string that you fly a kite with. It's going to burn up the oven. Get kitchen string. And I keep all my knives in this duplex. It's got baking supplies in one, butchering in another, slicing and dicing in another. And I pull this out of the baking section. This is a pastry bake. Roll of them, they're throwaways. You could use a cloth bag, use a plastic bag. So basically I'm going to turn it inside out, and I'm going to cut the tip off and keep it fairly small, the hole, and I'll check that with my, when I pipe it, to make sure that it's going to work. And let's see, I need a skiddy spatula. This is a flat spat. They make offset spats. There's all kinds of fancy spatulas. I bake, but I'm not the greatest baker, but I think I'm pretty darn good. it's good to be well versed in most phases of cooking, especially up here. I kind of treat it like the farm. I don't go to the store but about once a week, and if I can avoid that, I do. This time of year I've got basil growing out in the garden, I've got the San Marzano tomatoes, I've got Amish paste tomatoes, I've got some dwarf fruit trees, and each one produces 5 varieties of fruit. I've got 5 varieties of cherries, 5 varieties of pears, and in fact I was able, I'll show you this, these are the smallest variety of pear. There's a huge tree down the road and nobody's doing anything with it. These are suckle pears. They're just awesome for dessert, nice little tarts, and they're just nice and ripe, beautiful. You'd have to pay a small fortune to get those from a specialty outfit like Roland. And I'm surprised this year there's so many apples varieties available. Lucian's given me a lot of Gravensteins. I've got an apple cider mill outside that a guy made me in Tennessee, and we're going to make some cider, and I'll show you how to freeze it to kind of pasteurize it so it doesn't ferment and turn into alcohol. I don't do any alcohol. I gave that up a long time ago. I found I have a lot more energy and a lot more fun with the food. I love red wine, don't get me wrong, but yeah, now I'll pour it for people that enjoy it and spend my time doing what I do best, and that's cooking and showing people how to cook. And so I've got all this sausage in here, and I'm not going to use it all because, like I say, I want to stuff some in those asparagus. And so here's this breast that's had these pouches cut into it. And so basically I'm going to stick this in there, and you can see it pump up. And I don't want to fill it too full because as it cooks, it swells. It's going to try and come out this outside and get a little brown. And I don't really want it to do that. So I'm concentrating on filling it down in the cavity there. And I've got plenty for the asparagus. And like I said, that'll swell up. I'm going to put this back in the fridge to keep it cold until we get to the asparagus and the pasta. You're not going to believe how easy it is to take a couple cups of flour, a couple cups of, or a couple eggs, a couple tablespoons of olive oil, a pinch of salt, and a little bit of water, and make pasta. You can get some semolina that makes really good pasta. You can get some red Durham hard winter wheat that makes some good pasta. And you know, you go down to the grocery store, and let me see, I think you get about 12 ounces pasta. Let's see here. Oh, this one's a pound, but a lot of cases it's 12 ounces. And that might set you back $1.70 some cents. You can make that same amount of pasta for peanuts. I mean, it costed 2 eggs. It's like, you know, 30 cents at the most. I was down at Walmart, and for a dozen eggs, they're like under 90 cents now. So they're really quite cheap. And my neighbor has a few chickens I gave him when I moved down to Nevada to open up a steak and seafood restaurant last year. And so I could barter bread with him and still get some nice farm fresh eggs. And so I prefer that. I prefer duck eggs, actually. Duck eggs are awesome. Okay, I'm going to take a little piece of this kitchen twine, and I'm going to tie it off equally, relatively equally, right here at the tip of this breast and skin. And I'm going to have to come up here, and then I'm going to go around these legs and around these legs, just loop it around once. And I'm going to tie it tight to make that kickstand so it stands up. Get it tight as you can. Hold your finger there. Just a simple little quick tie, a little lasso if you will. Okay. And then I'm going to come around here again. See how tight that is? Just as tight as you can get it. I'm going to cut off the excess because that's just going to burn. I don't really want that. And now, this thing is just about ready to be roasted. I'm going to put a little seasoning on it. I'm going to put a little of that stock in this pan. I'm going to put it up in the corner, and I'll show you how you get it to ensure that it's going to stay up. And we're going to create some flavor. We're going to get some celery. We're going to get some carrot. Oh, Draper's has some beautiful golden carrots down there. But being the conservative person that I am with food, I'm going to use up what I got before I get anything. Use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Okay, now I don't peel these because there's a lot of nutrition in that skin. But I'm going to take the rough part of a pad that I use just for that purpose, and I'm just going to clean it up. I kind of do like the Asians do. I don't waste anything. I cut it from end to end. It's all edible. Some people whack the ends off, throw them out, whack that off, throw it out. I say why? And since I'm roasting it, I really don't want to cut these very fine. They're really sweet. They pick up flavor. And I'm going to put the fat ends right there to help keep that up. That makes sense? And then take a rib of celery. That's a rib. And when I'm working with celery, I don't like the cords that get stuck in your teeth. So I go like that, snap the end, and the ribs will all come out. Then I snap this in case I missed any. You see how that comes out? You see how that comes out? And so when you bite that and eat it, you don't get any ribs. That can go into the stock. Let's turn that heat on. Okay, so now we've got all this nice stock. And that's, we're not going to waste it. It's going in here. Same with all the bones. They pick up flavor as they're roasted. So you're coming down to the wire on what was that chicken. And you'd be surprised how many people we could feed with that one chicken. And the stuffed legs. We can slice those because almost no bone left in it. Same with this. I just want ribs. I don't want to chop them up really fine. They'll roast out really nice. There's that fat floating around in the pan. You see that's kind of scalded the skin. And I'll put a little bit of, obviously, fresh pepper. What a novel concept. Keep it simple. And then a little bit of kosher salt. Not much. We can always do what they call a finished seasoning. Once we taste it and see where we're at, you can always add more. It's really hard to take it out of there. Okay. So I've got my oven on. It's warmed up, 350 degrees. And I'm going to throw this in there right in the middle of the oven. If I were going to braise it, I'd put it in the bottom of the oven. And I could braise it too still. Maybe I will, maybe I'll put it in the bottom of it. Why not? And then I'll nap this stock halfway through the process with a little cornstarch and water. So it gets a little tacky. And when I coat the chicken with it, it'll actually start sealing it, making it shine and lock the flavor in. And you can see it's about 3/4 full. And like I said, if we're braising, we're down on the bottom rack. For roasting, you can put it up on the top rack. And so while we do that, we're going to finish up with some onion in there. And instead of wasting this white part of the green onion, I'm going to throw that in there as well. Onion has a lot of flavor. Keep your celery and your onions, leeks, and all that other good stuff down in the refrigerator section. the vegetable section of your reefer. And I really like this Samsung. I've had it about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And you can move around the freezers, put a freezer up there, and move a reefer down here. It's got a blast chiller on it. Right now I'm running at -4 degrees. I really like to keep frozen things frozen. They say freezing occurs at 32 degrees, but that's not really frozen. By federal standard, frozen is 0 degrees. So they sell a lot of fresh product. It's like especially hamburger that's stored at 32 degrees, so they keep adding to it in these big hoppers before they grind it. And so, to me, it's really not fresh. And I don't really like hamburger unless I'm going to make my own. So I'm going to bring those chicken legs out that I've got chilled. And I'm going to take that sausage, wrap the leg around it. And you can see it's right in there. And that's actually going to plump up when it cooks. And what I'll do is I'll actually put that, I'll season it a little bit, and I'll put that right in there with the chicken. I'll have to keep an eye on it though, because it is going to cook faster than that breast. So here again, not too much. And to lock it in, I'm going to use a little breadcrumb. I love breadcrumbs. And like I say, you can make your own. Take your little Cuisinart or your grinder and grind it. And here again, I'm not touting anyone's product. There's several good ones out there. And like I said, white bread is just as good. Or you take crackers, put them in a baggie, and beat them up with a mallet. But it's just a good way to seal this up. And I don't want to seal the whole thing. I just want to seal the bottom. I could put them in parchment. The French call that papillote. I really wouldn't want to wrap them in foil. I'm not sure I like the taste of tin. So anyway, I'm going to slip these in. That braising liquid with the chicken. Kind of put them up on top of the vegetables. And I don't know, get your hands on one of these if you can. It's a rubberized mat, and it's just really nice. It'll hold up to, I don't know, 500-600 degrees. Hook it right there on your stove. I made a little hook. I like to keep my pots and pans right close at hand. I have some down here as well that I can reach. Of course, this depends on what I'm doing. And now, while that's cooking, we're going to move into the pasta making section. And I'll show you how to take a couple of eggs, a couple cups of flour, a pinch of salt, some olive oil, and a little bit of water. And we're going to make this pasta. And so we'll take just a bit of a break, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to clean up a little bit and reset. Get this chicken off my cutting board.